Hello everyone and welcome back to another review. I didn't expect to be doing this so soon, but we have something amazing right here. So I was expecting this from a friend, but if they had sent me the one that they were going to, I wouldn't have gotten it for another week. And I was presented with the opportunity right here, so I thought, sod it, I'll get it done, and then I'll transfer the money I sent him already for this same set to another set like Earthshock, for example. So as you can see already, we have the first Doctor and Tardis from An Unearthly Child, and my god, what a set it is. This set does come with a rather large backdrop of Totter's Yard, which looks absolutely amazing. The image very clearly isn't high quality, but there is some kind of nostalgic feel to it that screams, this is Doctor Who. And as well as that, I'm not sure if you can see, but right here is what seems to be an Easter egg, but no one can actually make out what it is because it's too dark. However, it is a different resolution to everything else. So far we've had quite a few theories about what that could possibly be, including a Dalek eye and things like that. I personally don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, it's there. I guess it's a nice little nod to something, but I don't know what nod it's supposed to represent, so I'm not going to really comment on it. Bringing back the Doctor and Tardis, you can see it is quite an exquisite set. This is also, as you can see, the very first TARDIS ever to incorporate the thicker roof. Bringing in the first Doctor TARDIS original release, you can see that there is quite a vast difference between them, including the colour. And as you can see, the new one has been severely weathered down to make it look battered and worn. However, they're still pretty much based on the same TARDIS. Before we move on to the actual TARDIS itself, why don't we take a look at the first Doctor figure. Now firstly, I don't have the original release of this first Doctor at the moment. I would like to get it at some point, but like I say, at the moment I don't have it. It's nice to see a variant of that figure either way. As you can see, this time he comes without the cape, the skull and walking stick. And a lot of the colours have been changed around slightly. The Doctor is much more paler in hand. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but he is a lot whiter than previous releases. Bringing in the first Doctor from the Sensorites, you can see there is a vast difference between them, especially in tone of skin. The first Doctor features his textured hat from the episode, which is a very nice inclusion to see, as I don't have any figures apart from this one now with this hat. And as you can see, in contrast to the original, he comes with a grey scarf rather than white. His costume is pretty much all the same, apart from the coat being more closed now, and the brownish checkered pants make a return. As you can see, they're not quite as bright as the Sensorites, but they are still almost slightly muted, but it is still there. As you can see, he's also wearing a black cravat. Now you might be asking yourself, well, why is that? In the episode, he does, but not in the episode you're thinking. This is based on the unbroadcast first Doctor and his costume from that serial. The articulation for the first Doctor here is standard. It is the 360 at the shoulders, biceps, wrist. I presume that the head can do a 360, but it is hindered by the scarf. The waist can probably do a 360, but again hindered by the coat. The thighs can do a 360, and there is articulation at the knees. I forgot to also mention that there is articulation at the elbows as well, and also the fact that he uses a T-crotch joint. As with a lot of the figures from the Doctor, there is no feet articulation. One of the big things I will say that I like about this figure is the hair. Now, on camera, you probably can't tell, but it is basically white or like a dark white with highlights of grey. And that really accentuates the sculpt very well. And now onto the TARDIS police box. As I said earlier, this is apparently based on An Unearthly Child. However, as it states on the box, it is not from An Unearthly Child episode. It is from the broadcast that was never aired. It is basically a re-release of the old one, but with a thicker roof. The big telltale for this being that it is from the pilot and not the broadcast episode is the white border around the pull to open sign. Both TARDIS doors open and close as per the normal. There is no interior at all, unfortunately, but these props on set didn't actually have any interiors, so it is not a bother for me. And it looks like that this time they've gone into a lot of trouble to get the details quite right, such as the small little window sills on the windows. Now, one of the things you're going to have a lot of questions about is going to be the St. John's Ambulance sign. If you're wondering why it's not like the original, as back here, it is because Doctor Who has lost the St. John's Ambulance sign license rights. That also includes any merchandise. But what character have very cleverly done is they've added almost the inclusion of the St. John's Ambulance sign, so it is still there, but it is tattered, it's worn, it's filthy, and it looks like it's very old. It's a bit of artistic creative licensing, but I think at the end of the day, just for that, it's probably worth it. As I showed you earlier, this TARDIS features the thicker roof with the Fresnel lens and the taller light housing. The light housing also has 4 supports on it rather than usually 3, as we've now seen on the TARDIS toys for the last 2 years. More specifically from things like the Wargames TARDIS just behind in the background. This is certainly part of a lovely collection and I'm happy to have it on the shelf finally. It is basically any collector's wet dream, and honestly, if you ask me, I highly recommend it, because it is an absolutely fabulous TARDIS toy. And I am so pleased that we get, finally, an updated TARDIS model with the correct roof for the First Doctor. It has certainly been a long time coming, but finally we got there. And I'm so surprised that I was able to pick this up, because it was such a nightmare to try and find, when coincidentally it was at the closest B&M to me. Thank you for watching, and I just want to say that I will be reviewing another set, which is the 5 Doctors, which is the one I was originally going to do first until I ended up with this at the same time. And that will be released later on today, I think around 4 o'clock this evening. So please stay tuned for that, because I am so excited to review that set. Thank you for watching everyone, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye!